Hey, everybody, welcome back to Lettermen Row for BuckIQ. It's been a little bit of a hiatus, but now we have actual games to break down. Zach Boren is back and ready to talk about some defense, some silver bullets, and first one's in the bag, 45-31. There'll be a lot to cover, so this will be the first of two Zach's going to go through with us this week, but we've got some defense to talk about. Zach, I know you're excited that the first game is out of the way, and we get to talk about something that's not just about potential.
We're back, man. I love it. We've been waiting for this day for a long time, even having the fans in the stands. Everything about last Thursday night was amazing. Now we get to break down last Thursday's game, look forward to Saturday's game. And yes, thank God we aren't just talking about five-star potential here, and we actually get to break down some game film.
All right, so it seems like a little bit of a mixed bag. I think you put into context that 20 to 24 players were playing out there. They rotated. Buckeyes rotated a lot. They gave up some big plays, but they also got the stops they needed, which with Ohio State's offense is about all you need. Where do you fall on the spectrum here of evaluating that for a game one?
For game one, I'd say a B-. Listen, Minnesota has a great run game. You saw how big those guys are up front for them. But at the same time, they're just – the line of scrimmage, the way Minnesota controlled it, I didn't love seeing that. And I know we're going to break down some run games here pretty soon. But in my mind, B-. They made the plays when they had to make the plays with Zach Harrison, a strip sack, Haskell Garrett with returning it for a touchdown. And to your point, you don't have to do much with this Ohio State offense. You just have to make sure you almost bend but don't break. They broke too often on Thursday night, and I think we saw that. Thank God for C.J. Stroud and that Ohio State offense because they came back roaring in the second half.
I wondered if you felt the same way that I did, that it was like Ohio State knew they were going to win the game, that the talent went out in the end because they substituted so many players that they were just content to experiment. Just felt like too much. Maybe it was because they knew that they needed to figure something out before Oregon. I don't know. I don't think they can continue to play with as many players as they did on Thursday night.
1,000,000%. I think that's offense and defensively. You saw so many guys rotating on Thursday night, and I think now moving forward, you have to stick to your niche group. You have to, especially on defense. You need to be in a routine. We talked about this at Lettermen Live at Urban Meyer's Pint House last Tuesday night. You cannot have so many guys rotating. They talked about early on in the preseason that they were going to have 8, 9 guys rotating on the back end. You just can't have that. Guys have to be familiar. Guys have to be locked in. Guys have to get into kind of the repetition of the game and the mindset. You can't just be going off the field and back on. It doesn't work like that. So they got to find the dudes that are come out and play, and they have to keep with those guys. And speaking of dudes, I just want to give one shout, Denzel Burke on the back end. Welcome to the party, my friend. Your table at the bar is here.
Yeah, talk about something that wasn't just part of the rotation. That was forced on Ohio State for a true freshman to go out there and play. He made a couple of big ones, and we've got some others from the tackles for loss and the big strip sack that you mentioned from Zach Harrison. We're going to start with the good today, and then we'll be back later this week with the bad, but we are going to roll the tape right now with Zach Boren. All right, Zach, let's get it rolling. There were more good plays than bad for Ohio State in the opener. That's how you win road games on the road in the rain anyway. We know it wasn't perfect. We'll get into that later in the week, but this was one of several examples where Ohio State was getting those silver bullets flying to the football, rallying to it, reading and reacting to drop the first one of the year. Yep. And there were some positives for this defense.
Oh, my God, reading and reacting. I love it there. I love it. You are exactly right. Right here, this is reading and reacting. This is playing defense with your eyes and trusting your instincts. You look at this right here. If you pause that right there that you just had it on, they see the handoff. They see it. It's wide zone coming this way. Look at all these guys playing downhill. You see Taraja Mitchell playing downhill. You see Cody Simon playing downhill. You see all these guys coming downhill. Ronnie Hickman, I love it. From the safety position, look at this. He's making this tackle 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Now that's coming downhill and playing silver bullet defense. That's what you want. In the defensive line, that's controlling the line of scrimmage. Look at where those bodies are. Those Minnesota offensive linemen, even when you pause it right there, look at that. They're 1 yard to 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. That's how you play defense. Pads under pads, driving guys back, playing with attitude, and coming downhill with a purpose.
Yeah, like I said, we'll talk about the bus, but when you look at all the carries throughout the rest of the game, 29 for 3.7 yards per carry, that's pretty good because this is one of the best running backs in the Big Ten. Now, they're going to have to get the rest fixed. We'll talk about that later in the week, but said there were still a lot of positives for this team that they can grow, build on. And this is one of those mano-a-mano situations here. We know how the drive ended, but this is an example. You're just going to run the football straight ahead at Ohio State. Most times that's not going to work.
Good luck, right? And as soon as this ball is snapped, look at this offensive line. This is how you play defense. You see our defensive line hat under their hats, and then look at this. Look at the drive off the line of scrimmage. They're playing 1 yard to 2 yards in their backfield. And you see these linebackers coming downhill. Josh Proctor, look at this, coming downhill, seeing it, reading, reacting, playing with his eyes. He is going full-blown downhill, running, keeping his shoulders square, getting in there. I absolutely love this. Ronnie Hickman, again, when you see the safeties making plays behind the line of scrimmage, keeping their shoulders square, you know this defense is coming with an attitude and playing downhill. And that's when Ohio State is best. When you're sitting there and these guys are trying to, think too much and, hey, what do I do? Kind of like what we saw with the 4th and 1 run, with Mo Ibrahim earlier on in this game. When you think, that's when you've got problems. But, man, when this defensive line and these linebackers play quick, play downhill, read and react and know exactly what they're seeing, man, this defense is dangerous.
Yeah, read and react and maybe dial up a perfectly timed blitz and let Cody Simon run.
Cody Simon is absolutely unbelievable. His athleticism, his tenacity, played with Thursday night. Everyone was talking about this guy in spring football, right? They were saying, where is he going to fit in on the field? And I think you saw it Thursday night. This delayed blitz, the way he plays with some attitude, the way he plays downhill, he is a tone setter for this Ohio State defense. And I think you're going to see him playing a lot more with Taraja Mitchell and Tommy Eichenberg. The way those three guys play, you need that attitude with the linebacker. Man, Cody Simon knows like he got shot out of a bullet right here. I know I didn't have that speed when I played. This dude's got some speed. And this dude, especially this week against Oregon, is going to be utilized a lot because of the way that he's able to play sideline to sideline.
I think this is, I don't know, Zach, like people wanting to maybe see more aggression out of Kerry Combs. And look, he's never had a full complement of defenders to use when we're talking about his return here and taking control of the defense. And if you don't have your top two corners, that makes make it hard for you to want to dial up a couple of blitzers like this. But it works when you have Ohio State's athleticism.
It most definitely does. And that's the key thing, right? When you have these linebackers that are this athletic and that actually know the game and can see it like this, this is what it is. It's almost like a spy in this situation. You're blocking you're blitzing Taraja Mitchell, right? To take on another offensive lineman. Now you see it, it's 5v5, and Cody Simon's sitting here as a spy. He sees, Tanner Morgan drop back, and he just shoots. He shoots from the hip and goes, and that's what you love to see. And yes, Kerry Combs needs to do this. He doesn't, I think so many times last year he wanted to give some help to those DBs because they struggled so much. But at the same time, what beats pass coverage is a rush and some pressure on the quarterback, right? If those guys only have to guard for 2-3 seconds, a lot better than 5 or 6. And so I think you're going to see him dial some things up with some games up front with blitzing these linebackers, especially like I said, Cody Simon's athletic. Tommy Eichenberg's a lot more athletic than what people think. And then you've got the thumper there in Taraja Mitchell that basically can take up these offensive linemen and let these guys run free.
Yeah, that's a pretty good combination right there. And then we'll see, as we've said, maybe Ohio State will cut down that rotation and let those guys play a lot more, get in the rhythm of the game. This is another one that I think everyone's been waiting on a couple years. The 5-star Zach Harrison, going to be a captain, going to improve. Well, you have to go out and show it on the field. He did that in a moment where Ohio State really needed it.
He did. And, I think a lot of people Thursday night were looking for more of a pass rush from Ohio State. Yes, this is a huge strip sack, but I think they were looking for, that those defensive ends to show up a little bit more. But I will say this, Minnesota did a great job with play action almost every play. You even saw when they're in shotgun, which is right here. They're giving a fake to Mo Ibrahim to kind of stop those defensive ends. But, man, Zach Harrison, welcome to the 2021 season, my man. He is getting off the ball right here. He's using his length, using his athleticism. This tackle literally has no chance right here. Great strip sack, and Haskell Garrett, the big man touchdown. I love it. You saw it last year against Michigan State. You're seeing it again this year. Haskell Garrett, man, welcome to the party early on this season.
The guy's got 2 touchdowns now coming from defensive tackle. He catches one, and then he scoops and scores. I guess we can call that a rushing touchdown. Hey, maybe he needs to play a little offense, Zach.
No doubt, man. Put him at the fullback position. God, he almost has as many touchdowns as I do in my career, man. Haskell Garrett, come on now.
Another big play for him. He's got an All-American start to his career with the stats. Zach Harrison looks like he's going to try and do that as well. You just look at it, Zach, as we close the book here. Like, there are a lot of things for Ohio State to take out of that game and grow on. I know that no one will love seeing 31 points on the board. Not trying to say that that's acceptable by the Ohio State standard, but I think you can kind of at times rationalize how that happened, why that happened, and see that there might be some really good football down the road for this team.
Yeah, 31 points isn't acceptable at all. And I think everyone inside the Woody Hayes realizes that as well. But there are some other factors, like you mentioned. This is the first game. You are replacing a lot on defense. You're replacing your entire linebacking core on defense, which is huge. You're playing on the road against a Big Ten opponent that's pretty good. I think you're going to see this Minnesota team do some things out there in the Big Ten West. And it's the first time with fans. Right? This is the first time you're facing some adversity. Last year, and this is a decently young team, right? And so last year, when you face some adversity, it's just, hey, I'm facing some adversity as a team. Now you've got a home crowd behind Minnesota. Now you're kind of on the road. You look around, you only got the 75 comrades on your sideline, and that's it. And you're going to war. It adds a different dynamic. And people, that's going to be the biggest deciding factor, I think, in this 21 season, especially early on, are those crowds and the way teams react to either having a home crowd, on their side, or have it going up and going on the road. And this Ohio State team, yes, they faced some adversity early, but that second half, they came on strong, really strong. And I think if you're Ryan Day and you're a Buckeye fan, you love to see the way they responded in the second half.
And now they get a home crowd on their side on Saturday against Oregon. First of 2 Silver Bullet breakdowns with my guy, Zach Boren, this week. A lot more to come, as always, and all season at Lettermen Row. Zach, great to be back with you, man.
I love it, man. Can't wait for next week as well. Go Bucks, and let's beat the Ducks.
All right. For Zach Boren, I'm Austin Ward. We'll see you next time on Lettermen Row for BuckIQ.